Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Jar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Another legendary weekend in Miami begins. The Celtics come to town, but Bam and the Heat are ready to defend 305. Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. The rivalry, the energy, the action. We go live at 7 right here on ESPN 1063.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
The new state-of-the-art showroom at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach is now open. And let me tell you, it's amazing. If you're looking for a brand new 2020 to 2025 Kia, there is something for you. Every car has so many awesome features, it will be hard to pick just one. Plus, the safety tech and that unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. There's peace of mind in every mile. If you've been putting off car shopping, now's the time. Don't wait any longer. Get down to Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, trade keys, and drive home a new Kia today. So, which one will you choose? See my friend Lonnie Mister at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach and find out why there are more Kias on the road every day. Call 800-NEW-KIAS or Lonnie at 561-433-1511 and check us out online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, where your new Kia is waiting for you.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See kia.com or retailer for details.
Lithium batteries need to be disposed of properly. We've seen fires in recycling and garbage facilities here in Palm Beach County. Don't throw your lithium batteries into the garbage and don't put them in your recycle bins. Visit us at swa.org/LIB.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Live from Clover Park, it is a spring training edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063, Friday, March 14th, 2025. Colin Russo with you, joined alongside me, Mike Rizzo. We got Damian Perez back at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach, keeping us up over the air on that sense. You heard it, Mets spring training. They got the Astros, they got the Nationals a little later on. Everybody's playing. I saw the lineup. Soto's playing. Tracy's playing. They got Lindor playing. Kodai Senga is on the mound for them. So they got a lot of guys in the mix here. I know they just shut down McNeil. But outside of Clover Park here, got the full beautiful Friday afternoon. A windy. It's a perfect day for a little bit of baseball. We got the Met fans everywhere. And I'll tell you one thing. The Met fans travel here. This is Met Town.
It is.
You got a couple. We got a Red Sox fan. I saw a couple Nationals fans. I saw a couple Yankee fans. But this is Mets Town right here. So I'm very impressed with what we're seeing at Clover Park.
Definitely, and what a facility it is too. It's a beautiful facility. One of the
it's a little
premier.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a little bizarre.
I really do think it's one of the premier spring training ballparks that I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them. So thrilled to be here. Thrilled to see a little Juan Soto coming up tonight. And I think, Colin, that's why people are here. People are here to see Juan Soto hopefully slug a home run for the home fans tonight. But you mentioned they got a bunch of other good guys, too.
Well,
I mean, this is going to be a really good Met team this year.
To start on the park, what's interesting about that is I was walking through it, and first time I've been here at Clover Park at Port St. Lucie, but the outfield doesn't necessarily connect.
Yep.
It's not like a full concourse, so you could do a full 360 around
Right.
the park
Yep.
and walk around. Instead, it sort of cuts off on the third and first base lines, and then you got a little bit of like the grassier area in the outfield. It's different, it's interesting, but you don't have a full 360 around the grass or the field.
Yeah.
On that in this ballpark, which I think is interesting. I don't know if I've seen that before.
And I like it that they have their own little quirk for spring training. It's awesome. It's somewhere where you go and it's going to be memorable. Somewhere where you're going to go and be like, oh yeah, that's the stadium that does this. So we're thrilled to be here on site. And as Colin alluded to, Francisco Lindor in the lineup.
You got
Soto in the lineup.
Yeah, you got all the guys playing today. And the Mets is one of the big stories of the MLB offseason. One of the big stories going into the regular season, which is just really, going to be next week, essentially. We'll get into our MLB over-unders next segment, get our win totals in and on the books officially with Hard Rock Bet. But one thing about the Mets is ever since they got Soto in mid-December,
right,
and they were able to poach him from the Bronx, the expectations were there with the Mets, but the Mets are always the Mets. That's always been the dark cloud above the organization.
I'm tired of that.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
The Mets are always going to Met. Now, you get Soto in the mix. You pay him the $800 million. Yeah. The expectation doesn't necessarily – I'm not expecting them to be the Mets, but now this is as big or boom or bust as you could possibly get.
And I'm done with the woe is me Met fan. You got a great roster this year. It's time to get behind the team and stop saying poor me, poor I. You had a great year last year too. All right. I understand that you couldn't get to the World Series, but the NL is significantly tougher than the American League right now. You had a great year last year, and you loaded up this year, and you're probably going to have a better season. Now, it doesn't help Manaya's already dealing with something. It always hurts when you lose some of your pitchers. Frankie Montas, is he ever going to be healthy? That's another question as well. But certainly with Senga, Kodai Senga,
and their
hopefully
pitching is
healthy.
pitched well in the spring training, too.
And the bullpen, too. The bullpen as well. So we'll have to wait and see how the pitching staff progresses through the year. But that 1 through 9, I think, is good enough to compete at any level.
I don't know if I'd say 1 through 9. I'd say 1 through 5.
Fair enough.
That first 5 in the lineup is as good as anybody in baseball. That is the bottom line. In terms of the at-bats that you're dealing consecutively, with Soto right there, you got Lindor. You got a couple pitchers here and there, like you said, but they've pitched well in the spring training, so you got to give them credit there. But for the Mets, if I'm trying to teeter expectations, you're in a very, very hard division. Atlanta's going to be healthy. Philly's going to be sort of on their last go-round before all these guys age out.
Totally.
And
pitching too with Philly.
Absolutely. Well, they have older pitchers. They have older bats. They're still great players, great postseason players. But at a certain point, Philly's going to put all in and completely put up or shut up. So that's what I'm worried about there. Atlanta's finally getting healthy. The Mets sort of have a longer timeline. Vientos had a great postseason run and better second half of the year. But it doesn't feel like maybe it's the urgency. I don't know if it's there.
That back half of the lineup, Vientos, and I understand McNeil's
Well, Vientos
hurt.
will be in the front half.
I understand that McNeil is hurt. I understand Alvarez is hurt. But, they're going to need some of those players to step up when healthy
Beatty.
as well. Yeah. And then, Nimmo, I know he's going to be more towards the top. But once you get healthy guys back up in, then some guys could slide lower into the lineup. We mentioned it all the time with the Dodgers last year. Why were the Dodgers able to have so much success? Was because their 1 through 9 was so dangerous. The guys at the back half of the line, obviously Freddie Freeman was an absolute
The 7
animal.
through 9 won the multiple playoff series.
But Kyle, obviously Freddie Freeman was an absolute animal in the World Series, but that back half of the lineup is what did the damage and what won them a World Series.
It was Muncy against the Padres and the Mets.
Right.
And then it was Edman.
Tommy Edman, former Cardinal.
Series.
We got Cardinal jerseys here.
And it was Edman.
What about
in
Tommy
the World
Edman?
Series.
What happened to Tommy Edman?
So off of that, you're right. It wasn't Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
It wasn't as much. Betts was good. He wasn't great. It was Freeman and that back half of the lineup.
Yep.
Now, can the Mets conjure that? Can the Mets manufacture that back half of the lineup magic? And also, can they consistently pitch in a big game?
You hope it's Juan Soto. You hope it's Francisco Lindor. And then you're looking
You know that. You know that. That's a no.
Well, okay, how about this? You're looking for a third. Obviously, if you're the Dodgers, you have a big three. Who's going to be the third for the Mets?
You got to hope it's Vientos. He's young. He's going to hopefully take another step.
Yep.
And then Alonso's sitting there.
Yeah, Pete.
Alonso's going to give you your
Pete.
30, 40 runs if he's having a good year and a healthy year.
Right.
So you got that as well. So the front half of the lineup, it's as elite as it gets. But with the damage that the other teams in the division can do, with Atlanta and Philly sitting there, Philly is much more well-rounded than the Mets are. So is Atlanta. Atlanta's got deeper pitching, and so does Philadelphia.
And those win totals they're up there for a reason.
And
right?
we'll get into the
and
win
we're going to get into that later on. But
on the other side.
It doesn't surprise me with the pitching staff that those other two teams have that they're up there with the Mets on the total win totals. But Kyle, you're not putting faith in Jesse Winker, Tyrone Taylor. I mean, these are some of the
Winker
back half guys.
was good in the postseason.
Right. Winker was good in the postseason, and you've seen him had success with the Reds before he came on over to the Mets. So maybe, who knows, maybe this lineup could be one of the more dangerous ones in the MLB. But you hope Juan Soto. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying Juan Soto's going to be a bum in a Met jersey, so Mets fans, please don't think that. But you hope Juan Soto will be able to reciprocate what he produced when he was with his other teams like the Yankees, Padres.
You don't have Judge hitting behind you.
No.
That's going to be an issue. I don't know if it's going to be a major problem, but that's going to be a noticeable change because you don't have the AL MVP coming up on your rear. So off of that offense is going to need to complement each other in a big way. Soto's going to get on base. Soto's going to have extra base hits.
Doesn't strike out.
He's going to be an elite at bat. He's going to be tough for an opposing pitcher. But can the other guys complement what he does similarly to how that front half of the Yankee lineup did a year ago?
And I know Frankie was, I love Frankie dearly, but he was red hot in the playoffs. We've seen Lindor kind of struggle throughout a 162-game season within the last couple.
Not last year.
But
he was a second NL voted.
In years past.
In the MVP voted.
In years past in that Met jersey, you've seen Lindor struggle a little bit. You hope with Soto in that lineup that he could put together the same 162 that he did last year. That's all I'm saying. Because Met fans were ready to completely blow things up before, they went on their run last year with Lindor. So let's hope that Frankie could slide right in.
It was the Scherzer-Verlander thing that really derailed their perspective. But if I'm thinking as a Met fan, the one thing about the offseason that I really like is they had a spiritual win. And the Mets never get that. The Mets are the little brother of New York City. They always have been. And they're always in that Yankee shadow. But poaching Juan Soto from the Yankees is that ultimate spiritual, patriotic almost for your team
absolutely.
type of victory
There's some pride
that
in that.
they needed. They needed that. It was the Yankees looking bad and the Mets looking good, which rarely ever happens. So now, building off of that, they got a little juice of momentum. You're building off the magic from the late season last year. The Yankees ended off on pretty much a bad note, losing Soto and then having a bad World Series and a terrible AL.
Yep.
But the Mets, on the other hand, you're losing in 6 to the Dodgers, but they beat Philadelphia. They beat Milwaukee. There was a lot of things to take away from that. There's more positives to walk away from the season last year for the Mets than there were comparatively to the Yankees, in my opinion. I know the Yankees broke through to the World Series again, but I would say what I saw from the Mets were more positives comparatively to what the Yankees did on the other side of town.
I thought the Mets played the Dodgers better than anybody in the postseason, including the Yankees.
They were never in it, but I understand.
I thought, and I understand maybe if New York, what game was it when Freddie Freeman had the game winner? I forget. Was that game 1?
We're talking about against the Yankees?
Yeah, against the Yankees in the World Series. If that doesn't go the Dodgers' way, maybe that series is a little different. Maybe it does go longer. But I think the Mets played that Dodger team better than anybody did throughout the entire postseason.
The Padres took them to a Game 5.
I think it has a lot to do. I think it has a lot to do with how bad the American League is as well. But I understand the point. If you're a Met fan, you got a lot to look forward to this year, and I don't want to hear the "woe is me" Met fan.
I don't know if that's fair. The Padres took them to Game 5.
If you call into this show and you're a Met fan and you do the whole "woe is me," we're cursed, we're this or that, I'm not fielding that. Colin, I'm not fielding that.
You're not fielding that.
I'm not
you will
fielding
feel that for what? Will you feel that for Cleveland?
I didn't say that.
Well,
I didn't. Cleveland doesn't have a realistic chance to win a World Series. The Mets do.
Huh?
Can Cleveland maybe get lucky and go to a World Series because of a bad American League? Absolutely, Colin. But the Mets have the horses and the power and the lineup, and hopefully they figure something out at the pitching staff to where they could do it.
Well, the pitching staff, Clay Holmes has pitched well. Now the wondering, he's done a great job in terms of putting together good innings, short spurts, but that is somebody that they're trying to shift to a rotation piece. They let Severino walk. He went over to Oakland. And now all of a sudden you're going to have to retool here. Montas in the mix and the whole thing. But if I'm the Met fan and I'm thinking about the perspective of this season, I'm thinking about building momentum. Because I think there was a lot of momentum to be had coming off of last year. You had a pretty successful offseason. You were able to bring Alonso back for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, you probably overpaid for Soto a little bit, but the key was getting him in the building. You poached him from the Yankees, and the Yankees were heartbroken over it. And now all of a sudden, you get a bit of a retooled team with some elite top-end star power, where 2 of the 3 biggest stars in New York on the baseball side of things are playing for the Mets.
Yeah, they're playing in light blue and orange.
So you can't off of that. That's enough of a win in of itself.
It is.
Because you're trying to get out of that shadow of the Yankees. But if I'm the Mets, I got to conjure up some momentum coming into the season, staying healthy, and making sure that you don't have to rekindle the magic for 162, but you're going to have to be able to put together a 90-win season in some capacity with that great division sitting there with the Braves and the Phillies.
Is it the toughest division in baseball?
Of those 3,
it's tough.
It's either that or the NL West is up there with the Dodgers sitting there.
You're not buying the Central? We had a couple of playoff teams in there. The AL Central, I'm sorry, you had a couple of playoff teams in there last year.
With the Whites, any division in baseball,
but
with the White Sox in there.
I understand the point, Kyle, but the Marlins were equally horrible last year.
They were not equally horrible. They were not equally horrible.
21 games better, but you get what I'm saying.
21 games better, Mike.
Yeah, they were 21 games better.
Oh, my God. That's the difference between them.
Colin, they were 21 games better.
That's the difference between the Yankees and the Marlins.
Can I say so? 41 games for the White Sox. 41.
Yeah.
They're over under.
No division of that is the toughest division in baseball.
Their over under is 53.5. But to fight back a little bit, Cleveland,
who got worse,
Kansas City, and Detroit. I think 2 teams who got better.
Detroit who got better.
You tell me the
Royals got a little better. Twins got worse.
You tell me the Guards have gotten worse. Personally, I got to see it to believe it because we do this stuff all the time. But I understand the point.
Right. Fair enough. But I'm looking at the Mets, NL East, probably the toughest division, and I think the Washington Nationals and the Marlins are both going to be underrated this year.
I think the Nationals. I'm not sold on the Miami vision yet.
There's something about the young team. This is the A's of last year. Something about that young team where the expectations are basically on the floor. They got the Dodgers bench coach McCullough as the new manager for the Marlins. There's something to take away from that, in my opinion. Davey Martinez is still there. Our pal Mike Rizzo, the other Mike Rizzo, is still at the Nationals. They got a good outfield. I think both those teams will be a little bit better than advertised.
I'll buy stock into the Nationals. I'll buy stock into them, but not so much the Marlins. I think it's more likely the Marlins unload again. Now, I'm not saying 15 games in like they did last year when they got rid of Louis Ariz, okay? But I'm thinking more towards the back end of the trade deadline and whatnot. But yeah, totally noted. The top 3 of Philly, Atlanta, and the Mets, I think you could put toe-to-toe with any league.
And the Mets are the third fiddle there, so I'd be a little nervous about that. You don't want to fall behind in that division race.
You think they are third?
Those games are going to be very, very important.
So Philly 95 last year. I think they get worse.
Philly's going to be just as good.
Okay,
I'm not worried about Philly.
Okay.
Philly's going to be just as good. And Atlanta's going to be better. Atlanta's going to be better. Atlanta's going to be healthy. He's wearing a St. Louis hat.
You got a Cardinal hat on.
He's gassing up the Braves. I'm not a Met fan. Hold on a second. I'm not. He's saying I can't beat the Braves. Who? Me? Yeah, I can't beat them.
I'll tell you what.
That's fair enough.
We got bitter Cardinal fans because they're going to lose. They're going to win like 75 games this year. So that's why he's angry.
Well, the Mets sitting at I think that over-under is about 90.5, 91.5. Mike and I got to do our over-unders.
Yeah.
It's that time of the year.
To it.
It's my favorite time of the year, doing the season-long win total over-unders for baseball. I'm coming off a hot streak with the NBA. Going to have to keep that up with the baseball. So on the other side of things, on Russo and Rizzo, live from Clover Park, previewing a little bit of Mets action tonight, 6:10 first pitch. Mike and I are going to give our over-unders of the year, talk it through, talk it out, projections, predictions, and who we're going to take, who we're going to put money on with Hard Rock Bet. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
Beach. Attention, South Florida! The PGA Tour champions and the Pro Football Hall of Fame are teaming up for a one-of-a-kind event, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. From March 31st to April 6th, the action takes over the old course at Broken Sound in Boca Raton, featuring Hall of Fame legends like Warren Sapp, Calvin Johnson, Andre Reed, Rondé Barber, Chris Carter, and more. Tickets are on sale now at JamesHardyInvitational.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the home of legends.
Call for a rideshare. Hop on an airboat. Dust off those rolly snakes. It doesn't matter how you get to McDonald's, just as long as you hurry. Because now, for a limited time, 2 favorites are back. The Daily Double and Hot and Spicy McChicken for only $4.49. This deal won't last, especially on a classic like a Daily Double. 2 100% beef patties seasoned to perfection and melty American cheese. What are you waiting for? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
There's a domino effect that takes place when the first person orders a hash brown with their breakfast sandwich. Suddenly, no one in the car can think of a single reason why not to get a little extra crunch. And you'll hear a chorus of, "I'll do the same," from the back seat.
Get deals on our breakfast classics, like the $5.49 breakfast combo meal exclusively in the McDonald's app. Offer valid through 3/31/25 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Must opt into rewards.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live outside of Clover Park in Port St. Lucie, Florida. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Damien Perez with us back at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. You got a little Mets action tonight. In the thick of it, they got everybody playing tonight, essentially. Senga on the mound. They got Soto in the lineup. They got Lindor playing, so a lot of fun. You can tell this place is buzzing. You got all the Met fans coming out of the woodworks, coming to see Juan Soto, who's the next big star for the New York Mets. But it's time for us, Mike and I. This is my favorite part of the year because we can actually hypothesize and put a dollar sign to a prediction on the MLB side of things. It's time for us, presented by Hard Rock Bet, to do our MLB over-unders. Let's have some fun here, Mike.
Yeah, and I got a ton right off the bat. So you told me to have 4 ready. All right, I'm gonna go 1 through each. Okay, I'm gonna go 1 through 4.
So you already made your picks.
I already
got that set.
Already made
this
my
is for
picks.
Regular season wins throughout the season.
Regular season wins throughout the season, and it's funny you brought up the Red Sox. We got a Red Sox fan over here chilling over here. I got the over 86.5. I'm completely sold on that. And another bet I think you could possibly take is plus 300 to win the division. It was plus 500 before Garrett Cole got hurt, and then Cole gets hurt and moves to plus 300. I am buying bullishly into the Red Sox this year.
I love that pick.
I like what they did with Crochet. They have a mixture right now of major league batters with Rafael Devers and Alex Bregman.
Bueller's got to stay healthy.
Correct. And a mix of young farm talent, though. Like the Red Sox, it's time for them to bring that young talent that they've hung on to and not traded for stars. When you think of the Red Sox, oh my God, they let Mookie Betts go. But they also were able to hang on to a lot of key prospects that they got in that trade and in other trades. So I am buying bullishly into the Red Sox.
86.5. I love that pick,
It's
too.
minus
That's
110, 86.5. The next one is
Hold on, let's slow down here. Let's talk about the Red Sox for a second. Jeez. So one thing about the Red Sox that I do like is because of the Cole thing.
Right.
That division is now much more takeable than it was, 48 hours ago?
It is.
So off of that, And the fact that they got a good manager, they got good owners, they got the number 2 or 3 farm system in baseball. They got a lot of young guys ready to come up and really make their mark. And for me, if I'm thinking about that, it looks like they're going to play Bregman at second, Devers at third, and Devers, who I don't think has played yet in spring training.
Yep.
But they got talent, they got top-end talent, and more importantly, they improved the pitching. They got Crochet there, they got Giolito there, they got Buehler getting there, and if Buehler can get healthy, I know he's dealt with the Tommy Johns his whole career, but in the postseason, he was elite.
Yep,
He was electric. So I think the top-end talent of the Red Sox, I think they're going to be knocking on the door eventually.
Right.
I got to assume it's going to be this year.
Colin,
They're due.
Bello and Houck, I thought, were able to give him good innings at moments. I understand they might not be the more consistent guys, but I think as a back half 4 or 5 starter, if you're relying on Giolito, Buehler, and Crochet, that's a good 4 or 5 to have in the rotation.
The one thing about them is that division might have a couple sellers. You get the Rays that are sitting there that are going to have 47 of their first 59 games in George Steinbrenner Park, and that is going to be a problem for them once they get into July and August, the dog days, and they're on the road for 16 of 50 games throughout that. We talked about that yesterday because of the weather. They're playing outdoors. They got to play in the early parts on the front half and the back half of the season due to the harsh Florida conditions.
Yeah, and
so that's a problem. And then off of that, they got the Yankees who don't have their starting pitching completely figured out, but they're also going to win their 90 games. And then you got the Blue Jays, who I think are closer to being sellers of the deadline than they are being buyers.
Is it because of the culture? They have the players. Toronto has the players. It's because
they've never been able to figure out the pitching.
Sure.
They've never been able to figure out the pitching. They got older pitchers there.
Barrios and company.
And they were leading on Gausman, who's great. Bassett, the whole thing. So off of that, I mean, they've just never been able to put everything together. They've never been able to have a bullpen lineup and starting pitching at the same time.
They've been buying.
They're in a tough division. He's never able to get it done.
I understand Vladdy and Bichette were farm guys, but they've kind of been bullishly buying players for the last couple of years now, and it's such a tough division.
It's harder to play in Canada.
Division.
It's harder to go to Canada to join a team than it is to join one in the United States.
And it's a tough division. More Sox, by the way. Jaron Duran, Colin, I think emerged as another 2020.
They got a young team
2030.
surrounded by a couple good vets and then some decent pitching.
And
that team could totally win 87 games. I completely agree.
God forbid you get something from Trevor Story, too.
What's the next one you got?
All right, and you're going to have to stay with me on this one. How are my Cleveland Guardians 82.5 plus 150?
Other than the fact that they lost Jimenez, they lost Naylor.
Naylor was a mental case, and Jimenez struck out every at-bat.
Naylor had 40 homers. So you want to talk about a mental case? How about 40 homers? I'll take a mental case if it's 40 homers. Sign up. We'll get you in the straitjacket in the dugout.
Rumor is that he wasn't the best locker room guy either. And a lot of people think that his brother Bo is going to be able to break out now, not having older brother there. Apparently, there was a weird dynamic there. I think Kyle Manzardo is going to be able to have a hot bat for the Guards as well. I'm not going to go too deep into the Guards, but 82.5. We do this every year. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, what are they doing?" And then they win 90 games. 82.5 is an absolute joke.
Bad division too.
Plus 150 is amazing odds. Give me the Guards 82.5, brother.
Bad division. So they can take it bad.
Right.
The AL as a whole is really not that good. I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
I understand we never had a chance against the Yankees and whatnot in the playoffs, but Cade Smith is a solid reliever as well. I know Clase poops
they're always going to be. They're always going to be able to pitch.
They're solid. Correct.
They're always going to be able to pitch.
And Jose Ramirez is the most underrated player in baseball year in and year out.
So you like those two?
I like those two.
How about this? In the spirit of where we are, you know what I like?
What do you like?
I like the Mets under.
Wow.
90.5. I think this one is easy. I think this one is easy. They won 89 games last year, and they were the hottest team in the last 2 months of the season. And that was with Atlanta right on their tail, and Atlanta wasn't healthy either. Atlanta's back fully healthy. They're going to get Strider back in the mix. They had young pitchers last year in the rotation. I really think that this is going to be a hard, partially because of how good the NL is, and partially because of the holes in the Mets lineup. If you're looking at the Mets offseason, yeah, they got Soto, but they paid $800 million for him. They got Pete Alonso back for pennies on the dollar. And then now there's questions. They've pitched well in spring training, but they have questions about their pitching. Can Clay Holmes give you 25 starts? Can he do that? I mean, you don't know. Manaya, can he give you some of the magic that he had at spurts last year?
He's already hurt.
No Severino. So off of that, I'm not too sold on them being able to put together 91 wins. That's a good team. 91, 92 wins, that makes me a little nervous.
Well,
90.5, that team is flirting with the 86 to 88 range for me. I think this is a good under because I think the Phillies are going to be good. I think the Braves are going to be good. The NL is going to be so good. And I'm going to say it. The Mets, they might met at a certain point. The Mets might met at a certain
They're
point.
They're banking on the top half of that lineup. And you've been talking about it all show with the Alonsos and the Lindors.
I like that under.
And the
90.5 on Hard Rock.
90.5. So I worry more about the starting pitching. I don't. Can I say something about Clay Holmes? I don't trust Clay Holmes to be a starting
My
pitcher.
theme with the over-unders coming in is
Clay Holmes is the starting pitcher.
The NLs, I think the unders are a little bit more favorable because you get good top half teams. And I think on the AL side of things, you're good with overs because they're underselling how bad the AL really is, but the AL has to play each other.
Right.
So I like the Mets under, too.
And I don't mean to sit here and bash Clay Holmes right outside of his own home ballpark.
Well, he's played well, too. But
can
he give you 25 Can he give you 25
starter?
Starts? That's the big question.
Sure.
So Mets under 90.5 on Hard Rock Bet. I like that one, weirdly enough. Wins. I call it because of the division, but I'm in on Mets under. And you went a little hometown here. I'll go a little hometown. The A's over.
Yeah!
The A's won 69 games last year.
Attaboy.
And they actually spent money in the postseason. They had their biggest free agency signing. I'm an A's fan, so I never make an emotional bet. I usually draw a very thick line between me and making an emotional bet with my over-unders. But I'm that high on the A's this year. 71.5. That they could win 72 games. They won 69 last year, and their offense was one of the best offenses in the American League in the second half of the season. Yep. They completely turned it up, and what they do? They went to get Jeffrey Springs, who hasn't been healthy, from the Rays. They got Severino in there now. They got young talent all over the place. They have a good offense. Rooker batted in 115 RBIs last year. I think this team is very underrated. Now, they're playing in Sacramento. It's a hitters-friendly ballpark, which favors the offense. They're going to have tougher travel. The summer, I mentioned the Rays with the summer heat. It's going to be a problem there. So off of that, I'm a little nervous. But for me, sign me up for that A's over 71.5. That was an easy over last year. They were like 63.5.
Sure.
That was the Marlins of last year or the Nationals of last year. Sign me up. They're 71.5 over.
The A's are a hot team, too, if you play fantasy baseball. A lot of people love Tyler Soderstrom. He's the first baseman. Right. A lot of people like Bleedley, Lawrence Butler, the outfielders.
Yeah, Butler's great. Rooker's great.
Let's not forget about
Geloff is good.
I like the bullpen of the Clerk and Mason Miller. You know, you got the Clerk.
Well, they got the best closer in
Texas,
baseball, and they got Leclerc there, who's going to give you some innings.
Now, do you trust Jeffrey Springs and J.P. Sears?
That's a whole other question. Springs is going to be great if he's healthy.
Okay.
But all I'm saying, we don't need to get too far into it. 71.5, sign me up. A's over. They won 69 games last year. I think that one's easy. I really do. And think about it, too. The AL West, did any team in the AL West, outside of the Rangers, get better?
Nope. If anything, I think all teams surrounding probably got worse. I mean, the
Rangers are going to be much better. The Angels are going to be significantly better.
I think the Astros significantly probably got worse, right?
They got Christian Walker in there. The Astros are always going to be the Astros.
Well, I really like Yordan. You know, obviously anytime you got Yordan
no more Kyle Tucker.
Right.
So, I agree. They got worse.
I think they got worse.
They got worse.
And then Seattle does what Seattle does. It kind of just stays
They
put.
can pitch. They can't hit.
Right.
They can pitch. They can't hit.
And
the Angels are going to stink.
You want to know what I'm tired about with Seattle? Julio Rodriguez. I'm sick of hearing about how he's taking the next step, but neither here nor there.
Well, I think that's what people are waiting on. But
that's why I'm sick of hearing about it.
All right. Well, I mean, he was great his rookie year. So can we give the guy a break?
It was 4 years ago, partner.
What I'm saying. All right, fine. The AL West is going to be worse. The AL is terrible. 72 wins. They could do that.
Yes.
And that's me, and I'm anti-emotional bet. Call it an emotional bet. A's over 71.5.
Let's go.
I love it. What are your next two?
All right, I got the Cubs over 86.5.
It's a trendy pick.
This is probably my
worst. Trendy pick.
This is my worst one. Minus 125, but I really like what they did bringing in with Tucker. I think they got a really good starting pitching staff. I think it's a really sleepy starting pitching staff with the arms that they have there, too.
They got Counsell, who couldn't figure Craig Counsell as manager.
He stunk last year.
No, but that's the thing.
Stunk last year.
But that's the thing. He's a great manager.
Yeah, but even with that aside, with Counsell being bad last year.
All right, but that's last year.
That's what I mean.
You got to think it's only a turnaround.
That's why I'm going with the over. It only goes up from here. I think the bullpen got better. The starting pitching got better, and they added arguably a top 10, top 12 player in Kyle Tucker in all of baseball. So I'm bullish on the Cubs. I don't really like the odds, though. Minus 125. I could probably do more closer to minus 110, minus 100, but I am going to buy the Cubbies at minus 125 with 86.5.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. That's a trendy pick. A lot of people are in over on the Cubs over.
Every year. They were a trendy pick last year, too, when they got Counsell. So
What's your next one?
Reds over 79
Another
and a half.
trendy pick. Yeah,
I am a
there.
huge Terry Francona
They killed
guy.
me last. They killed me last year. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm not taking.
You're
the
not
Reds.
taking him.
No.
Francona, his teams rarely lose under 80 games. I'm going to be bullish on this because of the manager,
I don't love
because
this
of
one,
who he
yeah.
is. That's fine. I understand the pitching. If the pitching needs to stay healthy, the lineup is really hit or miss. They got a lot of young hitters and Steer and company in that lineup. But give me Terry Francona 79.5. It's a pure Tito bet.
Yeah. I understand that. It makes
Pure
sense. They
Tito
burned
bet.
me last year, so I'm not going back there. They burned me. I'm not dealing with the Reds again. And I thought they would be actually solid.
Horrible. And hang on, last thing. Horrible division.
Yeah, bad division.
The Cardinals are bad. The Pirates have talent, but
Brewers
they're
are going to be
bad.
underrated. Brewers
Like,
are going to be underrated like
sure,
they always are.
Yeah. And I
the
almost
Cubs are
took,
going to be solid.
I almost took the Brewers, but I didn't like their odds. By plus 100, I didn't give you my. There were another big reason.
You're taking
the
two
plus
teams in
100.
the same division. They play each other
Plus
16
100.
times. You like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you like that? They're playing each other.
Yes.
When you're going to be game
The
by
Cubbies,
game.
the Cubbies historic and this is me getting too far into it, Colin. The Cubbies split a lot within the division.
Well, that's not good. You don't want to take two because you're betting against yourself.
But the thing they if they're splitting with their opponents, if they're going 2-2 and 4 game series, you're getting wins from both sides. But I understand the point. I do like the Reds to get 80 wins, and I like the Cubbies to get 87.
I don't like taking the teams in the same division
That's fair enough.
unless they're not going to go over under.
That's fair enough. But I'm going to trust Tito and I'm going to trust Council.
All right, so you got the Reds and the Cubs here. So I got a couple in mind here. The first one that I think I'm fully in on is the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Because they had a nailer.
86 and a half. 86 and a half. I'm a big fan of this, and it's mostly because of Corbin Burns. They got Corbin Burns in there. They got the most underrated pitching staff in baseball. I'll say that straight up. Fat is good. Zach Allen's always been good. They got Corbin Burns, who's going to give you 200 innings.
Yep.
Like
now his strikeouts are down. Burnsy's strikeouts are down.
What are we going to dissect his strikeouts?
I kind of am.
The guy was their ace for
Colin,
the.
He was a punch-out guy his whole career. His strikeouts
he was an
are down.
ace. He was an ace last year for Baltimore. He was the only one they had. This guy is an elite pitcher.
Okay.
Completely a fan of it. They got a lot of run support, and the big part of that team too is Corbin Carroll. You want to talk about a turnaround?
Second half player.
You want to talk about a turnaround?
Second half player.
That is somebody that's going to need to have a big year. And he's one of the biggest stars in baseball. He's going to steal 50 bags. He's an elite base runner. He's a good pesky at bat. He's good in the field. I think this team's going to be really, really good. I don't care about the tough division. I like that team.
Piggybacking off Arizona, Kettle Marte, one of the better second basemen in all of baseball.
I don't hate this. Yeah. I don't like the division. Doesn't scare me. I think the Padres are closer to being sellers than buyers.
Fair.
They're going to sell that payroll before the deadline. If I had to make a bet today,
got the likes of the Rockies in that division too.
But then you got the Dodgers sitting there, fine, and then San Francisco is going to give you this 80-something wins, 70 late 70s. I'm okay with it. Tough division. But I really like the D-backs. I really think they're going to have a good year. 86 and a half. I like that over.
And that's another. I like the pick. Good pick. You brought up San Francisco. They've been the same team.
Well, they burned me last year too.
My God, brother, they've been the same team for a decade since they won the. I know your dad's a big Giant fan.
Well, they won 108 games in 2021. So keep that in mind.
But still,
I agree.
They got nothing to show for it. I I understand they won World Series, and trust me, I get the boat.
What is it? You talking from your hill?
Stop it. But Bochy,
3 in 6 years.
Stop it. The Bochy years were great. I'm talking recency bias, and I understand the 100-win season.
They got Posey in there and running the team. I'm not taking that team, but I like the D-backs. 86 and a half. Talk about turnaround. They improved in the lineup. I know they lost Christian Walker, but I think if Corbin Carroll can have somewhat of a turnaround year and that pitching can really put something together.
They lost Walker and added Naylor. I mean, one would think
Walker's
that
a better player than him, but yes.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. He does.
You're the one who told me he had 40 home runs.
Right, so Walker's a power hitter too, but Walker does a little bit more than Naylor.
Fair.
So,
does more in the field.
Yes. What I would say is the D-backs 86 and a half, even with the tight division.
Okay.
With the pitching that the D-backs have, they're going to be very, very tough and dangerous out. Now, I was considering my 2 unders. I like to do 1 under, 3 overs. That's usually how I do it.
Okay.
I already took my Mets under. I was between them and the Padres. Padres were 85 and 86 and a half. Depends where you look. I think that team's going to be a selling team as well. I don't care how good they were last year. And that team looked like the best team in baseball for the first 2 games of that division series against the Dodgers. But so I'm going to take the D-backs. And I'm thinking about division, capitalizing on the division or shrinking on the division. Okay. I talked about the AL East. I talked about the NL West. I like the Tigers.
Oh, you break my heart.
83 and a half.
You break my heart.
83 and a half is light.
They'll win that many.
talking about momentum, capitalizing on momentum. Hinch started to figure out, A.J. Hinch, their manager, started to figure out that team in the second half. They were the hottest team in baseball for 2 months. They were solid enough in a big spot. They got a great elite ace pitcher. They've added Flaherty back.
They brought Flaherty. I was about to say they brought Flaherty back. They got a good bullpen as well.
And another year of Torkelson, another year of that young hitting lineup. I'm in.
Conley, they brought in Tommy Conley from the Yankees.
I'm in on this team. I'm in. We're going 500 in that division with the AL as a whole. In on that. 100%. Brisky was solid last year.
Brisky was great. That's what I mean.
So
good bullpen, good pitching.
And they got a top, in my opinion, a top 3 to 4 manager in baseball.
You wonder if the small ball with the lineup can continue to work. You wonder a little bit if the power,
top 4 manager in all of baseball.
The lack of power, though, Kyle, right? They play small ball. It reminds me a lot of the Guards.
They got a lot of young bats
back in the day.
A lot of young bats and a terrible division. We're not asking them to win 95 games. We're asking them to win 85 games.
A terrible division for American League standards. How about that? But 3 of those teams
bad.
made the playoffs. 3 of those teams made the playoffs. Neither here nor there.
Terrible.
3 of the teams made the playoffs. I guess it's my
You're going to play the White Sox 16 times.
The Guards were one of the last 4 teams left. We were in there. Anyway, Kyle, they're banking on Parker Meadows to have, to take that next step. They'll probably need Riley Green to hit 30.
They need guys to take next step. That's fine. I'm okay with
Cole
that.
Keith to continue.
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Give me that the pitching and the manager and the division.
God,
that is my theme for the Tigers.
Can you stop that cheating? You know what, Hinch? How is that guy?
He's a great manager.
He's a cheater.
Well, he got banned. He got suspended.
Should still be banned.
He got suspended. So give him a break.
Cheater.
He got suspended. All right, fair enough. You can hate Hinch all you want. I understand, but he's a great manager.
He's a cheater.
He's a great manager.
Listen, you know how I am with that Astro crap. Cheating, you know what.
So I like the D-backs. I like the Tigers over. D-backs over at 86.5 wins. I like the Tigers over at 83.5 wins. I like the A's over at 71.5. And I like the Mets under at 90.5.
Fair.
That's 2 NL, 2 AL, 1 under, 3 overs. That's balanced. That's what I love. And Mike, on your side, you got what for? You got the Cubs over at 86.5. What's the Reds number?
The Reds is 79.5. So Reds 79.5 plus 100. Cubbies over 86.5 minus 125. I got my Guards 82.5 plus 150, and then the Red Sox 86.5 minus 110. I think the easiest one is the Guards, 82.5. They got to win 83
See, the thing
games.
is, if I'm going to put money in it, I'm not going to take the Red Sox because you did.
It's fine.
But I'm going to take that as well.
You're going to take the Guards?
Well, the one I'm actually going to put money on, I'm probably putting money on the Red Sox as well. I might do 5 this year. I don't know. But I usually do 4. That's usually my rule of thumb.
Okay.
And but I really like that Red Sox pick. But I don't want to take the same ones as you.
No, that's fine.
The Mets under 90.5, A's, Tigers, D-backs, Red Sox.
You could sprinkle the division. Do the plus 300 on the division for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't do that type. I only do the win totals. I haven't changed it since 6th grade. But Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez with you live. We're at Clover Park, previewing a little Mets action, which is happening tonight. Big college basketball slate today. You got basically every ranked team known to man playing each other in the span of about 4 or 5 hours here. I love this part of the year. It's bid stealing season. It's we find a little sense of a Cinderella run there. But those were our MLB over-under picks on win totals. So 888-760-3776. If there's a win total, over or under, that you love or you hate of the ones that we took, let us know. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the show. It's Russo and Rizzo live from Clover Park. We'll take a time out here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach. This spring, speed returns to South Florida. NASCAR weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. Go get it done. Green. Where high octane meets the high banks. And gear up for spring break in the fast lane. 3 races, 3 days, one unforgettable weekend in racing paradise. NASCAR weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway, March 21st through the 23rd. Get your tickets now at homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, the wings are fresh, the drinks are cold, and the game is always on. With 30 bold wing flavors, ice-cold beer, and handcrafted cocktails, there's no better place to kick back and catch every play. Escape the ordinary. HurricaneGrillandWings.com.
Alexa, set a reminder to listen to Unsportsmanlike weekdays at 6 a.m. on ESPN 106.3.
Okay, setting a reminder to listen to Unsportsmanlike weekdays at 6 a.m. on ESPN 106.3.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Want to bet on sports but no clue where to start? Millions of players are already making moves on Hard Rock Bet. Your friends might be winning. Why not you? Bet with confidence. Bets by real players help guide your picks. Go with the crowd and cash in on the wins. Any pick that catches your eye. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Win your first bet or get up to $100 back in bonus bets. Payable and bonus bet up to $100. Not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Yeah, man. Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo live from Clover Park. A little Mets action tonight. It's Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Damian Perez with you live on-site outdoors in Port St. Lucie, Florida. A beautiful Friday afternoon, March the 14th. With you from 4 to 6 p.m. If you missed any of the show today, want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can check us out live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm there. Weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m. If you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're here to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Listen, let's call it like we see it. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today because they're the best in the business. All it takes, one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Now, this is one of my favorite weeks of the year. Number one, because you get to do your MLB over-unders. And number two, because it's conference championship week in college basketball, which I get a huge kick out of. Because let's think about this. Today's slate for the college basketball, it's about the quarterfinals, semifinals-ish area of these games. I know a lot of these teams are making the tournament already, but let's think about this. Let's think about tonight's schedule. 6:30 and 6:30, you got Marquette St. John's, who played on Saturday and had an excellent game where St. John's hit a game winner in OT. You had Illinois, Maryland. You have Duke, UNC at 7. You have BYU and Houston. BYU, who has been one of the hottest teams in college basketball, beating Iowa State twice in March against Houston. You got Missouri and Florida. You got Purdue, Michigan. You got UConn and Creighton, which is always a good game. You got Kentucky, Alabama, which was a great game last time they played. Arizona, Texas Tech, Clemson, Louisville, Boise State, New Mexico, and Utah State, Colorado State. That is all from 6:30 to midnight.
So, Colin, we get done at 6 o'clock. If there are any cops out on the highway, okay, let's look the other way because your boy's trying to get home and trying to get that damn game on, those games on. Dude, YouTube TV, they have the quadruple box, Kyle. We could watch 4 games. 4 games on at once.
Yeah, I don't have cable. That hurts me.
I told you, you get on my YouTube. You
I
could
don't
use
know.
it.
No, I'm not going to take
Hang
the
on. How about
handouts.
this? So in true Colin fashion, who's about pride and I told him, like, Colin, I have YouTube TV. I could have someone on I could give you it for free. Colin goes, he has too much pride to take my YouTube TV.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing
it's
it.
unbelievable.
I'm not doing
I don't
it.
need $1. You're good,
I'm
dude.
not doing it.
Watch the games. How are you going to watch? Let me ask you this.
I'm logged into all the apps.
No,
I'm logged into all the
stop it.
apps.
That doesn't work.
No, it works. They got to go from app.
Well,
It's a pain.
Guess
In
what?
the rear end when I have to go to CBS and I have to go to Paramount Plus.
You're bootlegging.
Oh.
You're bootlegging.
I'm signed in on all the apps.
Yeah,
I'm signed in on all the apps. I got ESPN. I got ESPN Plus. So I can watch all those games.
You are Mr. College Basketball, and you will not take my YouTube TV account. Fair play to you, bud. But great games tonight, dude. Obviously, me being my one fair weather team is Kentucky. I don't know what to make of it. Did you watch that game against Oklahoma last night?
I was.
I was up till 1 in the morning watching that game, sweating out.
And Oklahoma needed the game. They knocked them out of the tournament.
Oh, my God. How about that Jeremiah Fears? Yeah. What a player
it's
for
bubble
Oklahoma.
Teams. Oklahoma was a bubble team. UNC, this is a huge game for Duke UNC tonight. UNC who actually played pretty well against Duke for about half that game, a little over. About a week ago. So off of that, I mean, they need to win this game.
Can I say something? If North Carolina can't beat Duke without Cooper Flagg,
I don't want
him in. I don't want him in.
Talk about the number
they
one
don't belong
team.
in.
All right,
they
fair
don't
enough.
belong in.
But the number one team in the country who has like 7 5-stars. I know UNC's a mess.
It's
They
a
got terrible
rivalry.
coach.
Hubert Davis. I think a lot of people are sick of Hubie Davis over there at North Carolina. If they can't win this game with no Cooper Flagg, they don't belong in the tournament.
Yeah, that's fair. But I'm not going to say that Duke is some walkover team.
Not saying they
without
are.
Their best player.
Not saying they are, but without Flagg. Let's rewind to that final game that they played at the end of the regular season. I believe it was
last Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Cooper Flagg closed that game out. Carolina was in that game, and then Cooper Flagg did Cooper Flagg.
They pulled away
things.
at the end. They pulled away at the end.
And a lot of it had to do with Flagg. So figure it out. Hey, Hubie Davis, figure it out, brother. Figure it out.
Duke doesn't need the game as much as UNC
we
does.
need it, but I'm one of those.
Nothing would give them more pleasure than to close North Carolina, likely
Yeah.
out of the tournament, depending.
I'm one of those.
Texas right now is playing Tennessee, and if Texas wins, they're going to be flirting with a spot. Indiana, who lost to Oregon, is going to be flirting with a spot.
And I think that could be a theme, too. We mentioned that Texas coach could be in hot water. Hubie Davis could be in hot water if they don't make the tournament.
Hubie Davis was just extended. He's not going anywhere.
You think so?
No, he was just extended. They're not. They cannot get rid of him even if they want, which is a mistake.
Sure.
But as a head coach in North Carolina,
you know how these
I don't think they're.
You know how these boosters are sometimes. That's a crazy avid fan base, but I understand.
They're so big on Carolina, born and bred with that program. Right. But I mean, Texas is going to be a bubble team. You got North Carolina, which is a bubble team. You got teams like Boise State, who are on the outside, kind of looking to fight their way in. North Carolina, of course. So you got a couple teams here. Oklahoma was in the mix, but I think they're probably going to, because the SEC wants to get 13, 14 teams in. Oklahoma probably the odd man out now that Texas beat Texas A&M yesterday. So.
And that's another fascinating part is how good are these SEC teams going to be in the tournament? Now, there's so many of them, Colin, that obviously you're going to have some success.
You think the SEC in football is overrated? Fair. You can't. I personally can't say that.
That's my next question is it an overrated conference?
Maybe they don't do well in the tournament because anything can happen.
Right.
But conference was a gauntlet.
You're not buying the Big Ten with Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, Maryland, and you're Bucky. Hang on, Kyle.
Wisconsin's playing right now against UCLA.
Hold on. You got to let me
I'd
do
put
the
any
whole
amount
thing.
I'd put any amount of money right now that they'll lose first weekend.
You got to let me do my thing when it comes to your Badgers. What? No faith in Greg Garden?
No.
No faith?
I was watching the game. You know what pissed me off?
You hate Garden.
You want to know what pissed me off?
What pissed you off?
How about this? I was in Madison last weekend and seeing some college friends watching a game. They were playing Penn State at home. Last game of the regular season, Penn State was 5-14 in conference. At the Kohl Center, which is a godforsaken NBA-like arena that's not suited for college basketball. So they lose the game. Terrible loss.
And some are blaming you.
Penn State, they lost the game. It was classic Wisconsin. They lose last game of the season, whatever. Lost the game, and I see two guys who are rotation players who play. One of them starts occasionally.
Okay.
At the bar that night.
Oh, yeah, you hated that.
I hated that.
You hated that.
I hated that.
I heard the word.
I almost said something. Yeah. What are you doing here? And it's not the old days where these guys don't get paid. These guys are college kids. You guys are paid athletes.
I know.
What are you doing?
That
pissed me off. That really annoyed me.
Some word on, I don't know, what's the street in Madison? Give me a street.
State Street.
Word on State Street is that Colin Russo was the malarkey at the Kohl Center on last Saturday.
Here's the problem. If you're going to lose the last regular season game and be at the bar, he's taking pictures with people.
Yeah.
Dude, get out of here. Watch some film. Ridiculous.
You don't
now. And they played well yesterday, and they're playing. They're
just
blowing
out UCLA.
They hit 12 threes in the first half. They hit 12 threes in the first half.
They blew the doors off.
They played great.
UCLA.
So I guess whatever. But this is Wisconsin through and through. They played great in the Big Ten tournament. They had that great win over Purdue last year in double OT. They lost to Illinois in that final, but
Illinois is good.
And then they go into the tournament, and James Madison, who's playing in the Sun Belt Conference with only 5 teams that were above 500. And they played James Madison, who was 31-4 coming into the tournament, and they lost. They got blitzed from the get-go.
Yeah, Bickerstaff, J.B. Bickerstaff, NBA head coach, his son was on the team.
God.
They were unconscious.
I was in Nashville, Tennessee, watching that game, and it drove me up
and
the wall. But it's classic Wisconsin. I would say today, Wisconsin is not doing anything in the tournament.
That's fine. That's fine.
Not doing anything.
Recency bias and great guard teams.
But they're going to get
in.
They're going to be getting. They're going to get. They're going to be at 3 or 4.
If you're going to do this, if you're going to hold me accountable with what I said about the Buckeyes, I got to hold you accountable with Wisconsin. If they make a run, I'm going to be all over you. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay. If they make a run, I got to hold you accountable.
I'm going to reluctantly root for them.
All right. And Colin, I never
lose.
I have so much pride in the schools that I went to in Ohio U and Ohio State.
Oh, they stink.
Colin is the complete opposite with his school.
Wisconsin's
you
terrible.
You hate Wisconsin.
I don't hate Wisconsin.
Yes,
I love going
you do.
there. I would go there again.
Yes, you do.
I went there expecting to have great football and great basketball.
Well,
I got neither.
Colin, I know.
I got neither.
I know you didn't know who the hell I was 8 months ago, but I'll tell you what. You should have consulted me. I could have told you they weren't going to be good at football, okay, partner? But basketball, you had a point.
Think about it. They were in the Big Ten. They were in the Big Ten championship in 2018. It was 2020. It was 2019. I was considering schools.
Should have went to no. If you were looking for sports, should have went to Bama. Number 1.
Well, hold on. Bama wasn't great then.
Number 2.
Oates wasn't even the coach.
Okay.
So that's why I can't take that seriously.
Fair enough.
I agree. I'm not going to go to Bama just so I can watch Nick Saban.
Hang on though. As a Buckeye,
I like the mix. I like the mix.
You went to Wisconsin
because they have good.
Ohio State.
No. Because Ohio State basketball
you knew you were getting good football.
Ohio State basketball stinks.
Not back then.
They had that one day, one year with Liddell where they lost in the first round. What a terrible loss that was.
But 2020, when you were still deciding, they were a solid basketball team. They were a solid team.
2020, the tournament got canceled. There was no tournament.
And then the year after, though, they were a number 2 seed, and remember
they lost in the first round to Oral
Roberts.
Roberts.
It was still a good team. It was still an unreal team.
They lost in the first round, Mike.
I understand they got upset, but you're sitting here trying to find good sports. Sure,
Mike, I was already at the school. What do you want me to do? You want me to transfer?
The hell are you doing going to Wisconsin?
I'm already at the school.
Yeah, you transfer. No,
my God.
I get on your case because I swear you hate your school, but neither here nor there.
I don't think the sports teams are that good.
I'm backing up
Wisconsin.
And
they're such blind optimists over in Madison,
you
Wisconsin.
can't stand that. They're with
blind optimists. Guys, open your eyes. The basketball team stinks. They're pretty good this year. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty good, but they're going to lose.
You want to know what's a bad look? You want to know what's a bad look? We had a game winner last night, Chucky Hepburn walking.
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC.
Wisconsin can never match the.
No.
You know what he got
Chucky,
to go to Louisville?
What do you
know what they give you?
What do you get?
They gave him $750,000
and a car,
an apartment, and a car.
Okay.
And a car.
Yeah.
How about that?
Hey, behind this one, you win a brand new car.
Wisconsin, they give you like a boot with all the beer in it,
and
they give you some cheese curds for life. Free cheese curds from Culver's
hang
for
on,
life.
Fickle's wheeling and dealing over there.
No, he's not. We don't need to break down Wisconsin. But all I'm saying is I went to school there because I thought I'd have good basketball and good football. I was wrong. And both stunk. Girls volleyball was great, and that was the buzz of the campus. Wasn't my cup of tea. It really wasn't. I don't know. I like volleyball. I can't watch it.
Hockey was solid.
Hockey's it's either terrible or great. Cole Caulfield, he was the number 4 pick in the draft. He was a great player for them. But that guy lived at the bar. Dude.
The hockey players. And
then he got called down from the Canadians after his second year. No wonder you did. I could have told you that. Guy's living at the bar. These guys are ridiculous. You know who lived at the bar, too, was Chucky Hepburn.
Seriously?
Oh, my God. Guy never left the bar. Guy never left.
I mean, hey, listen, he played, though. He showed up, and he was good.
Yeah.
Not last year. He wasn't good last year.
Oh, God. It was ridiculous. These Wisconsin guys drive me nuts.
You
guys are paid athletes.
What is
different?
I'm interested. Maybe we're getting too far into it. Never mind. I was going to ask our Milwaukee host, Ben Bruschi.
Brust.
Thank you. Ben Brust? Not Bruschi. Sorry, Benny. I'm so sorry, partner. What does he think about the guys at the bar? And so, because he was on elite teams. Ben was on elite teams.
I texted him about that.
He was on elite teams.
I'm like, I got 2 players sitting in front of me at the bar. After a loss at home, and he goes, "They'll be good. I'm not worried about it." I'm like, I can't take you seriously.
He the blind? Hang on, is he the blind optimist that you're yelling at?
I can't take him seriously either because he's got half bag Marquette, half bag Badgers, but he played with the Badgers. I can't. Wait.
He's a Marquette guy?
No, because Marquette is big with ESPN.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sold on that. But good college basketball today because you got the Tennessee-Texas game, which is a bubble game at the moment going on right now. I believe it's at half, or just second half just started, 47-42, 48-42, Tennessee leading that one. But UNC, a big matchup against Duke tonight. You got Marquette-St. John's, who Marquette-St. John's played each other last Saturday, and St. John's won off a game winner.
It's one of my games of the nights. And I know we're going to do that later on. But
that's at 6:30. That is going to be awesome.
That Uncle P, who got us the seats for the Orange Bowl, he was courtside at MSG last. He FaceTimes me.
Oh, really?
Dude, I'm MSG. I'm like, do you work? Like, do you ever work? Like, that's the tournament, though. That's the tournament I think you'd want to be at. That in the SEC.
Oh, the Big East tournament is great.
The Big
East tournament.
The MSG with the Big East and the SEC is the tournaments you want to be at. Right now.
Big Ten is in Indianapolis. I'll miss that one. The ACC is in Charlotte. The conference is not great. I'll miss that one. And the Big East is in New York City.
Yeah, it's Big East and SEC.
With Patino.
Right.
Oh, sign me
your
up.
boy Hurley was theater, as he always is.
And
theater.
But with Patino, I think that game is going to be very interesting.
Hang on.
I'm a Patino fan. He's the best coach in the sport.
We love Patino on this show. So.
He's best coach in the sport.
Yeah,
we got to do a little 5 at 5 on the flip side of things. Luke, Damian Perez into the conversation live at Clover Park for a little Mets action tonight. The Mets fans are piling into the ballpark, looking to see Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, Kodai Senga's on the mound today. So a little action there. But it's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Good people, it's Theo Dorsey. Spring training at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is in full swing, but time is running out. Don't miss the Miami Marlins and St. Louis Cardinals before the regular season starts. Tickets, groups, birthdays, and more are still available, but not for long. Don't wait. Stop by the ticket office or visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com today. See you at the ballpark.
The new state-of-the-art showroom at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach is now open. And let me tell you, it's amazing. If you're looking for a brand new 2020 to 2025 Kia, there is something for you. Every car has so many awesome features, it will be hard to pick just one. Plus, the safety tech and that unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. There's peace of mind in every mile. If you've been putting off car shopping, now's the time. Don't wait any longer. Get down to Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, trade keys, and drive home a new Kia today. So, which one will you choose? See my friend Lonnie Mister at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach and find out why there are more Kias on the road every day. Call 800-NEW-KIAS or Lonnie at 561-433-1511 and check us out online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, where your new Kia is waiting for you.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See kia.com or retailer for details.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to EDSIsYes.com. That's EDSIsYes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Breaking news, global drama, non-stop stress. You deserve a break from it all. That's where we come in. ESPN Radio is your escape. Nothing but sports, passion, and the love of the game. No chaos, no stress, just sports on the radio, done right. ESPN 106.3.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo live at Clover Park. Mets-Cardinals, 6:10 first pitch. Some spring training action here. You got basically the whole cavalry playing today with Lindor, Soto, Vientos, Senga on the mound. You got all the guys playing. Tracy, Jose Siri. All these guys are in uniform today as all the Met fans are piling in. A couple Cardinals fans here and there. But it's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. If you missed any of the program today, want to listen back, Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Me and Mike got a lot of remotes next week. We'll be at TGL, which has the playoffs coming up early next week.
I'll tell you what, we've had a blast being on site at TGL every single week. And, folks, you only have a couple more chances to see the future of golf right down in Palm Beach Gardens. The TGL playoffs are here, baby. And at TGL, you're just feet away from every single shot of some of the best golfers on the planet. Xander Schauffele, Ricky Fowler, Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry, Justin Thomas, Wyndham Clark, and many, many more. The best of the PGA Tour are in action Monday and Tuesday of next week. They're limited tickets, so you better get them while they're available for the TGL presented by the SoFi semifinal matches. New York Golf Club versus Los Angeles Golf Club. That is Monday, March 17th at 7 p.m. And then the Bay, baby. The Bay Golf Club faces off against the Atlanta Drive Golf Club Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster. Once again, tickets are available through Ticketmaster. This is the semifinal matchups of the TGL presented by SoFi. Russo and Rizzo will be right outside of the SoFi Center in the plaza from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So come out early. Come hang out with us. They do the whole thing. They got the cornhole board set up. They got food. They got all the entertainment you could possibly want. Again, get your tickets before they run out now for New York versus LA on Monday and the Bay versus Atlanta on Tuesday at Ticketmaster. Once again, tickets are available through Ticketmaster for the TGL semifinals.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, and we got our pal Damian Perez back at the City Place Studios helping us out today. Damian, what's going on, my friend?
Good afternoon. How you guys doing over there?
Yeah, Damian, you're sitting there at the City Place Studios probably tuning into a little college basketball, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking up right now at the Tennessee versus Texas game, and I am living life out here.
Yeah, you're living life indeed. All right, Damian, let's have some fun here. Let's do a little 5 at 5.
Number 1.
Steph Curry now has over 4,000 three-pointers made in his long tenured career. Can anyone even debate anymore that he is not the best shooter ever?
I think it's without a question he's the best shooter in the game, in the world, in the history of basketball. It's Russo and Rizzo, by the way, 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union with Damian Perez. But I think that this is talk about a pretty untouchable record. I mean, how good of a career do you have to put together to even rival 4,000 threes made.
Right.
That it's an incredible mark for Steph Curry. So 4,000 threes, best shooter ever. Not even it hasn't been a contest in years.
No,
it's definitely not now.
And he has the accolades. He has the stats. He is the best shooter ever. I will say this. Wish I could have saw Ray Allen play in this time period. I think it'd be close.
Different types of shooters.
Agreed.
Curry's a better shot creator. It's a better player. But yeah, I understand. Maybe like straight for straight.
Yep.
It's different. Curry.
Yep.
When's the last time Curry gets an open three? Really?
Yeah,
like,
I mean he literally
he creates for himself.
I mean the net game last Friday. This time last Thursday, we did the show Friday. I mean, he was back to Steph Curry ways. Best shooter of all time. There are a couple you wish you could have saw play, and nowadays it's not even close, though.
Damien, number 2.
Number 2.
North Carolina is a bubble team, and they face arch rivals Duke in the ACC semifinals. UNC has lost twice to Duke already, and they did not look competitive in those games, but Duke will be without Cooper Flagg, the best player in the country. Can UNC beat a depleted Duke?
So I'm wondering how motivated Duke is going to be today. You got no Cooper Flagg, and UNC is your rival who you've beaten twice, and they definitely need the game to make the tournament. They get a win over Duke, Cooper Flagg or not, they're probably going to get in, if I had to guess. Now, North Carolina, who'd they play yesterday? They played Wake Forest, I believe.
It was a terrible.
And Wake Forest is terrible. Oh my God! So they haven't beaten anybody that has been like a wow factor. Texas has that. If Texas beats Tennessee or Texas or beat Texas A&M, they have that. That's another bubble team on the list.
Correct.
But if you're the UNC, the Indianas of the world, where you're outside looking in, sort of inside looking out, you're going to need a kind of a statement win. I think this is a good opportunity for UNC. I could see them playing well here.
I sounded off on North Carolina. I'm going to do it again earlier in the show. If they lose this game, I don't want to see them in the NCAA tournament. No Cooper Flagg. You don't have your best player.
They're probably,
I don't
they're
want to see
probably
them.
not getting in if they lose.
And thank you for holding me accountable for telling me Huey Davis just signed a contract extension, which is crazy to me. But I think you ask yourself, if you're a North Carolina fan, you ask yourself why they gave him that extension if they miss out on the tournament. I do not want to hear about North Carolina if they lose to Duke without Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, it's one of the best jobs in the country, too. They could call anybody and they would answer. But number 3.
Number 3.
We have a loaded college basketball slate tonight, semifinals and quarterfinal games all over the place. Which matchups are you looking forward to the most?
I'm in the UConn Creighton, of course. A little dog in the fight there. Creighton's always been a thorn in the side of UConn throughout the entire way. But that Marquette St. John's game, they played on Saturday. This is going to be a quick turnaround. I mean, BYU Houston's very interesting. The last time they played BYU, it was in early January. Houston killed them by 30. But BYU has turned it around in a big way. They've had an outstanding season. They've beaten good teams. They're great at three-point shooting. That Houston game is very underrated tonight. 7 p.m. on ESPN2. I'm looking forward to that one.
My two, I guess, conferences. What's going on at the Bridgestone Arena in the SEC Championships with Kentucky and Alabama, and then Madison Square Garden. All eyes are on New York tonight. Colin already mentioned the UConn game.
It's just a big game environment. It feels great.
It is. And
the games were great yesterday.
They were unbelievable. And how about UConn? They struggled defensively all year. And after the game, I was watching that broadcast at 1 in the morning with Dan Hurley on the set. Dan Hurley goes, well, you saw the team that Florida was in the tournament. They sucked on defense all year. We're trying to be like them. Dan Hurley has sold UConn on a vision. I'm interested to see how that defense holds up against Creighton. They won with defense against Villanova in that second half.
They're likely going to be a 7
and nobody's going to want to play UConn.
Nobody is going to want to see
Nobody's going to want to see
Not even me being I know I'm a UConn fan. It's just the pedigree. The coach, the players they have, they're very erratic. They could lose any day.
Yep.
But if they're hot in the right spot, they've won 8 straight tournaments. I mean, they've won 2 straight tournaments. The entirety of the tournaments, winning by 12 plus.
And you had players, I believe it was who had the big second half? Help me out.
Hey, Alex Caravan.
Thank you. Yeah, Caravan after the game going, we're going for a national championship run. Like, it's not even an if, and, or but.
UConn's done it as a 7 before.
They're going for a national championship.
In 2011.
The fact that Hurley is able to sell these kids on a vision, and they won 20 games this year. Let's not act like they're some kind of Cinderella, but at the same time, very impressed. And that Pitino's the best coach in the country.
He is.
So the SEC game between Kentucky and Alabama tonight, a rivalry game, and then the 2 Madison Square Garden games, must-see.
College basketball is ran by its coaches.
Right.
You got Hurley there. I mean, you're thinking about it.
Yep.
You got McDermott there. He's a good coach. He's not a big-time coach like that. You got Shaka Smart there with Marquette, and you got Rick Pitino there with St. John's at the biggest basketball arena in the world.
I love that the Big East as a conference is still a thing. Let's not forget that, Syracuse and the likes of insanely.
They've had so much turnover.
They
the American,
have it, but
in and out.
between Big East basketball was the go-to. I feel like for a lot of the years in the '80s and early '90s, and then the conference started to go downhill. It's good to see it back in relevance.
Number 4.
Number 4.
The Chiefs are bringing back Kareem Hunt and will have Gardner Minshew backing up Mahomes. Are you boys sad that you won't see Minshew in a starting gig next year?
Now, I put this for you
Hold
because
on.
you are the definition of
Hold on.
Minshew
I don't like
mania.
this sign. You know why I don't like this
Why
signing?
don't you like this
Because
signing?
Minshew is like, he's like Mr. Inevitable.
Yeah.
He's going to start games.
So Mahomes is going to get hurt.
This is a bad omen
Knock
for
on wood.
Mahomes. No,
Knock
but
on
this
wood.
is a bad omen. Am I wrong on this?
No, you're not.
The
He
guy's
plays.
there. He's going to
He
find a
plays.
way. Mahomes is going to get suspended. He's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen where Gardner Minshew is going to start football games.
I'm going to get on
You
this.
stay far away from him.
I'm going to look up Minshew.
He backed up
because
Nick Foles,
he did.
and Nick
He
Foles
did.
broke his collarbone a quarter and a half into the game.
and
he backed up at the Colts. He just
Yes,
Anthony Richardson
yes.
tore apart his shoulder.
And then that was the year when Minshew played for the Colts. That was the year the running back fumbled, and they didn't go to the playoffs, and Houston went instead. And Houston was the team that played Cleveland.
Taylor.
Yeah, but to Colin's point, the last 4 years, Minshew has seen starting gigs because of injury.
That makes me nervous. Listen, I mean, we're
theme-
pulling at straws
is that
here.
theme?
But there's a theme surrounding Minshew. There's a theme, and you don't get him unless you want him to play. You don't get him. So I'd be a little nervous there. I don't love that signing. Kareem Hunt, fine. You can only succeed at anywhere but the Chiefs. But that's all we got there. Number 5.
Number 5.
Earlier in the show, we did MLB over-unders for win totals on the year. Which one is your favorite?
I think we're consensus Boston, right?
Yeah, we're both on the same page with Boston.
I
There's a
think-
lot that I do like that I didn't take. I mean, I don't love the Mets under,
Well, once
but
again,
I like
let me rattle mine off.
Go ahead.
Red Sox over 8, and I went all overs. Red Sox over 86.5 minus 110. The Guardians over 82.5 plus 150. The Cubby over 86.5 minus 125. That's probably my worst one odds wise. And then the Reds over 79.5 plus 100. I love the Terry Francona factor.
It's bad odds because it's a trendy pick.
Right.
I like the Red Sox over as well. It's not one of my 4, but I do like the pick. I took the Mets under. I did 90.5.
You upset the faithful here at Clover State. Clover Park.
They won 89 games last year with a ton of magic and momentum and right timing and health and everything. And an MVP season. Bobby Witt and Francisco Lindor kind of got put behind the 8 ball because they had 2 literally otherworldly all-time seasons by Ohtani and Judge, respectively. But they put together all-star MVP campaigns. So off of that, it makes you don't want to undervalue how good Lindor was last year. But I like that under. I took the Mets under. I took the A's over. This is not an emotional bet. I know I'm an A's fan, but I make that a point that I do not take emotional bets when it comes to this. A's over. It's 71.5 wins. The Mets under was 90.5. And then I took the D-backs over.
Yep.
Arizona is 86.5. That is their number.
You like that one. Kettle Marte, Corbin Carroll, the pitching
They're
staff.
deep. They're balanced, and I like that. Tough division. They're going to have to deal with the Dodgers, but 86.5.
And
I'm not high on the Padres.
That's what I was going to say next. You think Padres probably more sellers than buyers?
I think that team's going to be flirting in the low 80s, in the mid 80s. So I think that 85.5 that's San Diego's number.
Fair.
I think that's right in the good spot. But I think the D-backs that team can win 87 games in my book.
And they
got so much pitching if they can stay healthy.
And they've proved that they could go on a playoff run. 2 years ago they went all the way to the World Series.
Talent.
I like that pick.
Yeah, and they were aggressive in free agency. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
They want to win.
They got Montgomery sitting there too.
They do.
And maybe Montgomery.
Now,
he got denounced by the owner. But I mean, if
you didn't want to listen to my my conspiracy theory of Corbin Carroll not striking people, Corbin Burns not striking people out anymore, but he'll go 6. He'll give you 6. He'll give you quality starts.
That's their 5th starter.
He'll give
Jordan
you quality
Montgomery being their
starts.
5th starter. Can't start World Series games.
Now is Gallen? Not saying Gallen was bad last year, but is he going to get back this kind of Cy Young form?
Yeah, he was Cy Young 2 years. Cy Young form 2 years ago. So it's possible. You never know. And he doesn't have the pressure because Burnsy is that 1A.
Yep.
So I like that 86.5, and I took the Tigers, Detroit Tigers, at 83.5 over on wins. The one I like the most out of that, I do like the A's. I think that Red Sox over is great. If I had to pick one of that I would take the D-backs, 86.5. I don't like that mid-80s because it's so risky. because sometimes you only need 88, 89 wins to get into the postseason. So you're kind of you're really hoping on health at the right time. But in terms of value, though, I love the low 70s ones.
Yeah.
Because if they're actually moderately good, if that team, the A's, for example, that team can sneak up and win 80 games, then you're done 2 weeks before the season's done.
Kyle, my favorite outside of the Red Sox, I feel like that's our consensus. Outside of that, it's the Guards, just because how close I am to the situation. You know, I covering the team for as long as I did when I was part-time.
So I mentioned emotional bet. This is an emotional bet.
That's fine. 82 and a half. Andre Knott reported for the Guards is very bullish on this team as well. 82 and a half. Give me that all day.
The Cleveland beat reporter is high on the
team?
But
Dre is very, and GKB teammate, by the way, Andre Knott. Dre,
and he's very that's his job.
But he's not going to sit there and you know.
He's not gonna be a cheerleader.
Exactly. He's not gonna be a cheerleader. He'll tell you if he doesn't like what's going on. The moves to get rid of Naylor and Jimenez, I think people are looking at it as a positive. Believe it or not,
it's a low number. I agree with that, but it's got to be a low number for a reason. That's what makes
it a low
me
number. It
nervous.
was low number last year. He won 90 games.
What was the number last year? It's probably 80, 85, 86 and a half, I would guess.
To 80. No, because they were bad. It was closer to 80, 81.
Was it?
Yeah, they won 70. They won like 78 games 2 years ago, so they missed the playoffs. That last year was, and remember, Vogt, because Tito left, and then Vogt took over.
They knew it was a bad division. That number was that low last year? I don't know. We'd have to check.
Yeah.
But that was our 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union on ESPN 106.3. Thank you to Damian Perez for keeping us on track and around the sports world there. These Met fans, I mean, I'm telling you, for the past the game doesn't. First pitch is in 50 minutes, and I already felt like there's probably been 5,000-6,000 people that have went into that ballpark.
They got Soto fever. They got Soto fever.
And Port St. Lucie,
take their temperature.
Listen, I don't know how much. There's a Sky Zone across the street. I'm not sure how much else there is to do around Port St. Lucie.
Stop it.
But you go to a Met game.
Colin.
What better place than go check out Clover Park in Port St. Lucie? It's Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Damian Perez back at the City Play Studios helping us out as always. We take a time out here. Getting to a little bit about Steph Curry's 4,000 threes mark, little NBA action, little college basketball action. Stick around for it. Will be a lot of fun. We got our picks of the weekend coming up at the end of the show as well. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
In office, West Palm Beach.
This spring, speed returns to South Florida. NASCAR weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. Go get it done. Green. Where high octane meets the high banks. And gear up for spring break in the fast lane. 3 races, 3 days, one unforgettable weekend in racing paradise. NASCAR weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. March 21st through the 23rd. Get your tickets now at homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
March just got a whole lot sweeter at DQ Grill & Chill. Enjoy the blizzard of the month, Mint Oreo. Packed with creamy mint and crunchy Oreo pieces. Want extra crunch? Try the new Crunch and Oreo cookie cone dip. And cool off with the refreshing new orange cream shake. It's like sipping sunshine in a cup. Plus, free cone day is Thursday, March 20th. Come in for a free small vanilla cone. No purchase necessary. DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations. 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
It's Truck Month with the Ford crew.
Sam, do you know what these trucks have in common?
They're all Ford trucks. And they're built Ford tough.
Also true, but specifically they're Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years.
48 years? We should celebrate a month-long event.
Sam.
A truckload of value.
Sam.
Across the entire lineup of Ford trucks.
Sam.
That's called Truck Month already, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I knew it.
Based on 1977 to 2024 CY Industry reported total sales.
Eats, drinks, scenic views, all at Twin Peaks. Not quite ready for the craziness of March basketball? No worries, Twin Peaks has you covered. With games airing all month long, you can catch every shot during the legendary Twin Peaks Happy Hour. Whatever your vibe, Twin Peaks has it all, including their signature 29-degree draft beers. And for those true bourbon connoisseurs, dive into the exclusive Twin Peaks collection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas. Nobody does it like Twin Peaks. Come for the game, stay for the experience.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
You want to get involved in the action at Clover Park for the Mets-Cardinals, which is first pitch in just about 40 minutes. You can get started on Hard Rock Bet app now. Go download it on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started now. Hard Rock is the best because it's got basically every single game you could possibly imagine. It's got futures. It's got awards. It's got game by game. It's got live betting. It covers all corners, and it caters to both types of players, both the experienced player and the brand new player. So it's easy to get acclimated if you're brand new to a sports book, or if you're experienced and you want to put together a big-time parlay, put one together, or go utilize their Discover page and check out what the promos are. Check out if there's a profit boost on anything. Check out, I know the Players Championship is this weekend. They got profit boosts on that. We just made our over-under picks, win totals in the MLB with Hard Rock Bet. It's got it all covered, and you can go get started now and get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That first bet can be a parlay, can be a prop, can be the over. Whatever you like to bet in a game you choose, win that first bet to get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager, terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez with you on ESPN 1063. Steph Curry hit his 4,000th three last night. I was thinking about this. I don't know if anybody else will ever touch that.
Is that
crazy?
Is that an unbreakable
I don't know if it's
record?
unbreakable, but let's think about this. I mean, Curry.
I think that with LeBron and the points, personally.
That will never be touched.
I don't think it'll ever, just because of the longevity of the career since he was 18.
I think Curry's probably breakable. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, with how many three, and you could blame him, right? You could blame the way he plays.
How good he is.
But yeah, it's going to be tough. I wouldn't necessarily put it unbreakable.
You got to be more than a shooter.
You
got to be more than just a spot-up shooter.
What is the unbreakable? The points with LeBron. Is there anything? Am I missing anything else?
Oh, I mean, season-long or game by game?
What are we missing?
The 100 points is never going to be broken.
Okay, by Will
Chamberlain's 100 points is never going to be broken. Will Chamberlain's 50 points a game is never going to be broken.
Nope.
Will Chamberlain's 48.5 minutes per game is never going to be broken. I mean, how many Wilt ones do you want?
Right.
I mean, we could go down the list.
Okay.
That's an interesting.
But yeah, is that? I guess it. I don't think that would be.
John Stockton's assist numbers are never going to be broken. 18,000. That is never going to be broken.
I mean,
the guy played 82 games for 14 out of 16 seasons. That guy is and he played the playoffs. And he's the steals leader and he's the assist leader. And Kidd didn't touch it. Nash didn't touch it. Chris Paul has played for 30 years and he's not close. Nobody is touching that record.
It cracks me up because people say Michael played against, and I'm a LeBron guy, you know this, but people say Michael played against plumbers. John Stockton and Karl Malone certainly weren't any plumbers. That was some of the most beautiful basketball that the league arguably has seen, with the give and goes and the mailman. And I mean, that Utah Jazz team was really good, dude.
They popularized
really
that
good.
pick and roll.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
Really good.
They really reinvented it in that post game too. That record's never going to be touched. That Stockton assist and steals record. That's game by game. LeBron's 10 point. You know the record that's still going on. He scored 10 points in like 1,000 something
straight games. Yeah,
it's like 1,300 games.
It'll never happen again.
It's never going to be touched.
No, never.
It's current too.
Yeah.
And he's come close a couple times, but he's going to get that record until he retires.
I understand, and I'm not trying to turn this Jordan versus LeBron. I'm not trying to do that. But, that's why LeBron's my GOAT. I mean, the longevity, the consistently good player that LeBron has been for a long time, it's unrivaled. And I understand people will go, well, Michael, if he played when he was 18, fine, whatever. I think it was more because he wanted to kind of let go of basketball after Phil Jackson and the whole Bulls breakup. Maybe if he would have kept playing, he would have had more numbers or whatever. But LeBron is unrivaled on so many things when it comes to basketball. And similarly, I think Curry is unrivaled probably as the greatest shooter of all time. Until we see another player come through the ranks with the sniper that Steph Curry has had, I'm damn near saying his clout. How about that?
And
his clout of being the greatest shooter of all time. It's going to take a lot to touch.
I compare Curry as a scorer comparatively to a point guard. Curry is a good point guard. He's not like a stereotypical point guard. He doesn't manufacture the offense. He's not a Magic. He's not a Stockton. He's not a Kidd. He's not a Nash. He doesn't do what they do, and he's better than that. He is a 30-point-per-game scorer that gets 4, 5, 6 assists a game, and it's the complete fuel of the offense. That's Curry.
How much does Steve Kerr have to do with it?
I think it's a skill set.
Okay.
You can't
He
tell.
did
You
it with
can't
Mark
sit there.
Jackson.
You can't.
No, I'm just
You can't sit
asking.
there and say Steve Kerr is utilizing him wrong.
No, I'm saying that Kerr, brought him to a new level. Because if you remember, Mark Jackson was the coach, and they couldn't get over the hump. Now, a lot happened in the Western Conference playoffs in 2015, and obviously the Cavaliers were depleted. But Kerr coming to that team turned Curry into a completely
Kerr
different
also
player.
he walked into a running car. I mean, he walked to a running car.
But
that team was ready to go.
He gave it the Valvoline engine or whatever the hell we're going to call it. He gave it what it needed to get to the next level. And Mark Jackson, I feel like, is still better about it.
Curry finally got healthy.
And I love Mark Jackson. Don't get me wrong. I'm not picking on him.
Everybody's finally got healthy. Thompson took another step. Green took another step. It was right timing. But I agree. Kerr's a good coach. He's not a great coach.
He got that
but
team over, though. He's got that team and that player to where they belong.
I'm not saying the thing about Kerr is I'm not positive at this point in time because you haven't seen him with anybody else, so I guess that's fair. But I'm not positive that with a Steph Curry-less Warriors, with the amount of talent that they've had through there, they drafted Wiseman. He didn't work out. Kuminga. They're still waiting for him to figure it out. I mean, Podziemski is a solid player. He's not a great player. I mean, they haven't put together, outside of the Thompson, Green, and Curry, and Wiggins, essentially. Gary Payton a little bit.
Iguodala.
They haven't put Iguodala, who they acquired. They haven't homegrown.
Agreed.
Any elite talent
since Curry and Thompson and Green.
They haven't done that. So I don't know how much I trust him when Steph Curry decides to hang up the shoes.
And that GM retired too.
Bob Myers.
Myers. Yeah, he works. I see him on the
He's
desk.
on TV and he works and he works with the Commanders a little bit.
Right. I see him on the desk with ESPN now. So, and I know. Nonetheless, Colin, he was part of drafting Wiseman and Kuminga and a couple of failed.
But they haven't been able to develop.
Correct.
So that's why I'm not as sold on Kerr. But Steph Curry hit 4,000 threes. I don't know if it's an untouchable record. I would say compared to the others we brought up, I think those are just.
Can I transition here?
Moses Malone offensive rebounds. One's that pops to mind. He's got like 7,000 offensive rebounds, and it's like 3,000 more than the next.
If you and Damian Perez back at the City Place Studios have the exact number. Because I'm shooting from the hip here because I saw it on social media and don't remember. Transition a bit. Jimmy Butler, what? Since he joined, Warriors are 13-1, 14-1?
They've lost 2 games or 3 games. 2 or 3 games.
I saw like I said, hashtag shooting from the hip. But this is a team that is doing astronomical things since Jimmy Butler has joined this roster. I did this when you were gone, Kyle, on last Friday when Curry went crazy against the Nets. it's time to buy into the team in the playoffs. I can't promise you they're going to go to the finals and compete for a championship, but I don't think any of these teams in the West, I don't think anyone wants to see that Warrior team.
You want to take a look at the Warriors' schedule in March? They've played the Sixers, the Hornets, the Knicks, the Nets, the Pistons, the Trailblazers, and the Kings.
Still got to win.
Not calling that murderous row.
Kyle, but we do this. You did this with the Cavaliers, who won 15 in a row.
Before that, they played the Magic, the Hornets, the Mavericks, post-Luka.
That's the league.
The Kings.
There's 4 teams right now, right?
Mike.
Colin.
They haven't played. None of these teams have above a 500 record.
There's 4 teams in the NBA right now.
You want to talk about great? Sure, I know. No, but there's teams that are above 500 that they haven't. They're
outside.
Hang
on.
They hadn't played Milwaukee. They played the Knicks once. They didn't play Boston. They didn't play Cleveland. They didn't play OKC. They didn't play Memphis.
Okay.
They didn't play Denver, the Lakers. They didn't play Houston. They didn't play Minnesota, Mike.
Still pretty good, Kyle. Night in and night out with a veteran team.
They played Dallas, Sacramento. They played Portland. They played Brooklyn, Philadelphia, who are outside of the playoffs. They played Charlotte. Let's take a pause. They're beating the teams they should beat. Can we see them play a great team?
Okay.
I'm fighting back here, and you were not sold on them 2 weeks ago.
I'm not, but dude, sign me up.
How about this? They get their next 3 games: Knicks, Nuggets, Bucks. We'll see how they do then.
Hold on, Butler's
Knicks, Nuggets,
joining.
Bucks.
I'm going to get you the exact numbers that I saw today.
I can't write home about the Warriors, and they won in New York. I give them the credit. They won in New York. Curry's playing great. But they lost to the Sixers. They beat the Hornets, Knicks, Nets, Pistons.
Yeah, and I bet that.
And the Pistons are good.
How about
so
that?
That's a good win.
How about that? Remember, I bet that game. They lost to the Sixers. That was my lock of or my pick of the weekend. Thanks.
It's not an impossible schedule.
Thanks.
So I'm gonna have to see a little bit more. I'm gonna have to see a little bit more. That's my take.
But I think as a veteran-laced team like that, as long as they don't play Denver, they play Denver.
They avoid the play-in. They're a dangerous team because they got 2 elite playoff risers.
If they play Denver, you're gonna have Draymond Green guarding Nikola Jokic. So that's a disaster. That's a disaster.
As that 6, yeah. But the way I look at it is they have playoff risers. That's dangerous. They got Jimmy Butler, who is a perennial playoff riser. He's done it with multiple teams, multiple franchises, and I assume he's going to do it again. And they got Curry, who's a playoff riser. That's dangerous. I do think that team will be a little dangerous in the postseason, but I'm not sold on them right now. They're 13-1 since trading for Jimmy Butler.
That's it. Thank you. I was #shooting from the hip there.
13-1.
Still really, I listen. They played back half teams. They played bad teams fine, but 13-1's nothing to scoff at.
Sure.
Nothing to scoff at.
Totally agree. But they haven't played anybody special. They haven't. Haven't had an impossible
Do they
schedule.
match up well against the Lakers?
They match up well against the Lakers because the Lakers don't have an elite
Who
big.
guards Braun? Draymond?
A mixture.
Draymond and
They don't
Butler?
have Wiggins anymore,
Butler?
which hurts. They don't have Wiggins.
Right. Draymond and Butler, I'm assuming, split time with LeBron. Who's guarding
Kuminga.
Luka?
No, Kuminga.
Okay,
They put Kuminga.
It's going to be a feasting if they put I think.
I mean, it's LeBron. Who else is LeBron's going to get his 25, 5, and 5. But
and then Luka's the one I worry about. Who's that's the matchup that I worry
here's
about.
you're worried about them playing defense. Who's going the Warriors?
Yeah, you're right.
They got 2 elite playoff risers.
I made this argument to Cade last week. Curry is
now. I'm not ready to. This is a 6th seed in the Western Conference that has played well since the trade deadline. Fine, but hasn't played anybody special. I'm not ready to write home about that.
They were not in form though before that trade. They were losing to the likes of the teams that you mentioned before.
But if they play a Memphis, if they play a Houston, they can beat either of those 2 teams. Okay. Why? Because they have playoff risers.
You're Memphis. I'm putting words in your mouth. You nonetheless think Memphis are a decent enough
squad.
Well,
I took Memphis on the over on the year, which was a lead hit,
right?
Which is I should get momentarily a couple more games. But
take your victory lap.
Nah, that's fine. But the way I look at that is, I'll talk about playoff risers. Who has the elite star in a big series? The Warriors have one. The Lakers have 2. The Denver Nuggets have one. Jury's out, but the Thunder are well-rounded, and they have a big star. Houston, Van Vliet, Sengun, Jalen Green. I agree. Good team, well-rounded team.
They're
good
young.
coach.
They got to lose.
Good coach.
What do we always say? You got to get their lose.
Memphis. Jaren Jackson, good player. Good player. Great defensive player. John Moran has not been the same. So I cannot chalk that team up to some big-time contender as well. You need a big playoff rising star.
You do.
You do. And I think the Warriors, luckily, have 2, barring health. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo with you. Damian Perez, looping it back to you a little bit. Are you sold on the Warriors being any sort of contending team?
Listen, being a Miami Heat fan.
Well, we'll get to Damian.
For a long time now, and seeing what Jimmy Butler, what he can do to a franchise, not just on the court, but I just feel like he brings that mentality to the locker room in the playoffs, especially, but just in general, I feel like he brings just a different kind of character to the locker room. And after seeing what he did with Miami, I feel like he can do it with Golden State. I don't know if I'm buying in. I don't think he'll make it out of the West, but they'll compete.
If I could push back a bit, Jimmy was the 1A on that team. Is he going to be able to play like that?
Curry can play with anybody.
Okay.
Curry can play with anybody.
That's my question, because
that's why Curry's great. Curry can play with anybody.
But if you boys remember the run that Butler went on, he had the ball. He was the point guard. He was small forward. He played every position, probably outside of the 5.
He
offensive rebounds,
but he's
the whole
a
9 yards.
mid-range guy. He needs to get his 20, 25 shots a game. That's it. He doesn't construct the offense. He's not the ultimate playmaker. And Curry's a plug and play. If there's a plug and play in the league, there's 2. There's Durant and Curry. Those guys can play on any team tomorrow.
Yep.
And immediately seamlessly fit in. Kyrie can't. Harden can't. Jokic probably can't. LeBron can't. Luka can't. It turns into LeBron's team. But those 2 can play in any system, any style, any team.
LeBron, I think, has welcomed Luka with open arms. We could agree.
I agree. No, it's worked. Okay. It's worked because they formatted the team around it.
Sure, that's my pushback.
And LeBron that's the idea. Luka is the 1A ball handler, and LeBron is not. They've adopted that. But if you could put Curry, in my opinion, on every team in the league tomorrow, and he'd figure it out.
He'd blend in.
That's why I love Curry.
Yeah,
he's easy to play. He's easy to play for.
That's your word. Blend
easy
in.
to play with.
Yeah.
Easy to play for. Easy to play with.
I still can't. 4,000. LeBron. How about this? Basketball in 2025. LeBron has the point record, and Steph Curry has 4,000 threes. Talk about we're all so worried about who's going to carry the torch for the NBA next. Can we appreciate what these guys have done?
Crazy careers.
I understand we need to pass the torch, Colin, but my God, dude. And I sports hate Steph Curry. Listen, love Steph Curry as a person. Great dad, great father, and all that. But I sports hate him being a Cleveland guy. It's to the point where I'm just appreciating greatness now.
Curry's great.
I'm appreciating.
I've always been a fan of Curry.
Of course. I am to the point where I sports hate him because of my allegiance, but I appreciate greatness. That guy's unreal.
He carries himself well. He was a non-factor for the majority of that Olympics, and then he kind of just
saved us. No.
And then for the majority, and then the last 2 games he saved. Let me finish the point. I remember the game.
He saved us.
And then he saved the game in that game against France, and he was good in the game against Serbia. But for the rest of that, he was a plug and play, and he didn't necessarily take over the team. It was Durant here. That's why Curry's great.
Him and LeBron saved our bacon that run. And listen, I understand.
Curry was great the last 3 games. That's what I'm saying. But the group play, he wasn't that big of a factor. You're kind of waiting. When is Curry going to have his moment?
Yeah.
That's why that's why I give Booker credit too, because Booker on that Olympic team did the same thing, and he never really found his moment. But guys who could kind of put the ego aside, that's why those are the guys that are easy to root for.
And that's why Kyle, Team USA without Steph Curry and Bron, I don't want to see what that looks like right now.
You don't want to see it.
I don't want
We'll
to
do our picks of the night, picks of the weekend a little bit next, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Stick around for it live at Clover Park, where we get the Mets and Cardinals first pitch here, spring training, just about under 30 minutes to go till then. It's Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Attention, South Florida! The PGA Tour champions and the Pro Football Hall of Fame are teaming up for a one-of-a-kind event, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. From March 31st to April 6th, the action takes over the old course at Broken Sound in Boca Raton, featuring Hall of Fame legends like Warren Sapp, Calvin Johnson, Andre Reed, Rondé Barber, Chris Carter, and more. Tickets are on sale now at JamesHardyInvitational.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the home of legends.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. but such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
For the NASCAR fans tuning in to Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, stay tuned for ESPN West Palm's giveaways of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series next weekend, Friday the 21st through the weekend, the whole thing. Craftsman Truck Series, we've been doing riddles on Who Am I's with a bunch of NASCAR legends, not so legends. You can find out and keep an eye out at ESPN West Palm on Facebook, or listen to the stations and listen to Theoretically Speaking 2 to 4 weekdays on these very airwaves, and me and Mike 4 to 6 weekdays on Russo and Rizzo. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez with you. If you missed any of the program today, you want to listen back, you could listen at Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. But we're having a good time here at Clover Park. Mets-Cardinals, first pitch in about 25 minutes, and the Mets announced that Clay Holmes, believe it or not, the bullpen man, who they signed this offseason, planning on taking him into the starting rotation, will be their opening day starter. And somebody who's been pretty solid in the spring training in the short spurts that he has been out there, but it looks like they're ramping up. We didn't get a guest today, but we're ramping up his usage. So if only we could ask somebody. If only we could ask somebody. David Stearns. David, can
Clay Holmes go 6?
So how much do we trust Holmes to go? Are you looking to get 25 starts out of him? You're looking to get 15 healthy.
What about that back end of the lineup? You worried about the injuries? You worried about
David? Outside of the concourse at Clover Park, it's a good time. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon, early evening, March the 14th, 2025. All right, it's time for us to go head-to-head a little bit, and it's time for us to make our official, with a lot to choose from, make our official picks of the weekend.
It's no longer Russo and Rizzo.
I'm going to trust the team that's undefeated on the road this year.
It's a meaningless game.
That's my 2 cents, Colin.
It's Russo versus Rizzo.
Let's talk this out. Why put yourself behind the 8 ball? What, for pride?
Reputations are on the line. Egos will clash. Feelings will get hurt.
Now I'm going to be very pissed off.
Who's a sharp and who's a square?
What did I miss? What in the hell did I miss?
Time for Picks of the Night. Russo versus Rizzo. Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Now, Kyle, I think I got to check the official box score once Christian is back. I believe you are up a game. I believe you are up a game after winning, because you weren't here last Friday. But I think you hit on your bet 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I lost, and we were tied. So I think you were
up.
up.
Do I have to make a makeup pick?
No. Cade and I just went up against each other. So you were up a full game. Since you are up, I'll give you the first pick.
All right.
Yeah, give you the
Fair
first
enough.
pick.
You know what I'm thinking about? I don't know if I love it because I don't trust the coach, and I trust big coaches in big spots. North Carolina +7.
Okay. I got burned by that. I believe they burned us in a parlay before.
Yeah.
But keep that in mind. That was earlier this week.
I'm keeping that in mind. But the real one that I do like, BYU +7. +7 against Houston. Houston's got the suffocating defense. Maybe part of me thinks maybe it's their year with Sampson and company as the head coach there at Houston. They're number 2. BYU is number 17. They've been the hottest team in college basketball in the second half of the season. They haven't played them since the first April. It was January 4th was the first time they played Houston, and they haven't played them since.
Colin, that's about the only team I trust in the Big 12, I think, is Houston. Who else would you take in there? Baylor?
I think Iowa State at their best.
Really? You're sold on them?
I thought they were great. They played the Auburn the best in Maui. They haven't been healthy. That's the problem.
Yep.
They're missing their two starting point guards yesterday. They had Lipsy and Gilbert were out of the game. They're two most important players, and they kept pace with BYU.
I thought the team was better last year. I really do. But
way I look at it,
so you're going
BYU. I like the points here. I'm rooting for a close game. I'm not rooting for a win. I'm rooting for a close game. BYU can score, and Houston can't. That's why it's good. Houston can't.
Yep.
And the Houston's what they always are. That's why I wouldn't take them in a tournament spot, because Houston is great defensively. They're going to suffocate you. They're going to rebound well. They got one or two stars, but they can't score consistently. And it's going to burn them in a big spot. Their offense cannot bail them out. It's always been the case with the Kelvin Sampson team. So, BYU, a team who can score but can't defend, +7. Keeping it high scoring, let them run up and down the floor.
Kyle, I gave you the honors since I thought you were going to take this. Give me St. John's 3.5. I like them.
It's hard to beat a team twice in 5 days.
I like
6 days.
I'm down. I'm losing. I'm going to trust Uncle Rick Pitino tonight to get
Slick Rick.
Yeah, 3.5. I need a 4-point win.
Yeah.
Rick, to get me back in this
You're
fight.
not rooting for a close game.
I'm rooting for Rick. I'm not rooting for a close game. I'm rooting for Pitino.
Right.
Colin, my grandfather's favorite coach. Before the scandal, whatever. Rick Pitino. Give me Pitino tonight -3.5.
You like so why you're high on St. John's?
I'm high on St. John's tonight, Colin.
St. John's got a little Houston in them.
They do.
Great defensively,
but
pesky,
I go back.
rebounding.
Remember what was the game? They didn't even need a game. I saw something that
it was the Marquette game.
They didn't even.
They had the Big East regular season locked up.
They didn't even need it, and then they showed up, and not only showed up, they covered.
And they won at Marquette too.
Give me St. John's at home, right? They play at MSG. They're home.
Technically.
It's a home game.
Technically. It's a UConn home game if UConn was there. But St. John's
Are you worried? Now, are you worried about Colin Big?
Creighton's always been the thorn in their side. If I had to put money on it, I'd put Creighton +4.
Even when you guys won 2 in a row, and obviously you're still defending champs.
Last year's UConn team was one of the best teams I've ever seen. Maybe it probably was the best team best college team I've ever seen, and Creighton beat them in their building. They killed them.
What's up with it?
I don't know. They just have their number. It's Ashworth. It's their point guard. It's that Mormon who has like 2 kids and a wife. Dude, let's call timeout on the collegiate career, yeah? Go play in Greece and enjoy yourself.
No, dude, he's got eligibility, mate.
Yeah.
He's getting NIL.
But I think UConn will win. I just don't like the +4. I wouldn't take that with the -4. Yeah. BYU +7, my pick of the weekend. And Mike is taking St. John's, the Johnnies,
Give me him.
at MSG.
Give me Pitino.
And Pitino. I like that pick too. But I just don't like the twice in 6 days. That's a lot to ask for. But Marquette can never win a big game. Marquette can never win a big game.
Yeah, I will never trust him in the tournament again. I picked them to go Elite 8 last year, and didn't happen.
No.
Didn't happen.
I can't trust
How about my bracket last year? Marquette Elite 8, Kentucky winning it all. I was done before you even flipped it out.
I had Oakland upsetting them. That Oakland game was one of the most fun games I've ever watched my entire life. Oh,
yeah,
it was great.
not me, who's a big Kentucky fan.
Oh,
Appreciate
it was
that.
great. That was marvelous.
Yeah,
UConn, 30-0 run against Illinois. You remember that game?
Yeah, I do.
Wow, it was like 28-26. All the Illinois people were like, "Oh, wow, they're actually keeping pace." And then all of a sudden,
we were home.
It's 56 to 24.
I was still in Peoria back then. We were at the game.
Oh, it was great.
Jimmy and I were like, "Oh my God, they're hanging around." Terrence Shannon goes ice cold, and it was a 30-0 run.
Oh God!
We're like, all right, we started to make
You weren't. If you were at the game, you didn't hear Brad Underwood at halftime of that game going, "Well, we're gonna keep going at Donovan Clingan. Like we're gonna keep doing what we do when he's blocking everything no demand, and then he does the same thing in the second half." Brad.
We heard.
Let's call an audible here, yeah. Let's stay away from the top 3 pick in the draft.
I'm an Underwood guy. I think he's decent enough, but he was outmatched. Everyone was outmatched.
BYU +7. You're taking St. John's -3.5. It is our Hard Rock Bet picks of the weekend on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet. Go download that app today on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started today because you can get $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That first bet can be a parlay, can be a prop, can be over. What I like to bet any game you choose. Win that first one and get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions apply. Get started by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
So did I tell you what my buddies did today? Did I tell you about this?
No, I missed
this.
this.
So we're live at Clover Park. It's baseball season. And the new MLB The Show is out, Colin. My buddies took a...
Who's on the cover, by the way?
That's a good question.
You don't even know. Okay. Well, what's the story there?
I'm downloading it when I get home. They took off work today to play MLB The Show and to get a leg up on Diamond Dynasty. Good look or bad look? Now, they had vacation days.
That's stupid.
Colin, a month ago, they mapped out the drop night. So they were up in midnight playing last night.
Are you the type in favor? See, I wouldn't. I would if I'm going to skip a work day. Wouldn't you do it for something next week for the tournament?
Right, but Colin, I thought
are they sports fans?
They're major sports.
So what,
Sports.
guys? Let's skip next Friday.
This is their game. It's a trio of Ellie De La Cruz, Gunnar Henderson, and Paul Skeens. I apologize. I definitely should have known that.
Okay.
But I'm downloading it when I get home. But the boys are like,
Don't
Mike.
you skip next
the boys
week?
are like, Mike, are you taking off work? I said, guys, what am I going to leave Colin to do the show alone from Clover Park? I said, are you nuts? They're like, dude, it's MLB The Show Day. I said, I'm not, dude. I don't need to get the leg up on Diamond Dynasty.
I can listen to that if they're doing it for the tournament. I could do that because I love that. That Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to take off work for you get my vote of confidence. I have no problem with that.
So Brooke Sugar, who had I swear back in the day, Colin, she was she was a scribe who forged handwriting. You know what I mean? She was a magician at looking at our parents' writing and creating notes for us. She would write notes.
Who are you talking about?
This is my friend Brooke, who would create fake notes for us to skip out on school and watch the tournament.
Oh wow, that's good.
She was amazing. We would
Part
skip
of the
out
fun
on the
is
tournament.
in school. I guess you went to a school a little earlier than I did. We had internet then. So no, but I could watch. Did you? You couldn't watch online.
We weren't allowed to have our phones or laptops out.
See, when certain teachers had the smart boards, and they put on the games and the
that wasn't the thing. Colin, 2009 to 2013. If your phone was out, they were taking it away, and they were keeping it for a night, and also no laptops. You had to do everything pen and paper.
I went to school in a period where sometimes they'd have the games.
For me.
They'd have the games. Yeah. And that Thursday, Friday, you're there because it starts at midday, 11:30, 12, and you're just kind of watching games for the last 2 hours of school. Oh, it was the best.
So new GKB teammate, we'd go to John Weiser's house in his basement because his dad was
John, by the way.
Yeah. John, we'd go to his dad's basement because Doc, we call him Doc Wise, he was a dentist. We knew Doc wasn't going to be home till 6. So we would watch all the early games in Doc's basement. Then we would rendezvous to my house once, school
You got to change. You got to change it up. I like that. The 10 hours.
Exactly. Once school day was over and Doc was coming home, we'd go to my house.
Right.
But the magical.
It's like them skipping that today for MLB The Show. I'd rather them skip.
Yeah, they're
next week
for
the tournament.
We can't skip. We thought about skipping. We can't skip.
Today?
No.
I didn't think about skipping for MLB The Show.
No,
okay.
for the tournament.
Oh.
Remember I told you, I said, Kyle, what are we going to do? We're kind of.
I know.
Are we in a shoot?
You can't skip. You can't skip one.
Hang on. Are we in a shoot?
Yeah. We should ask a coach to come in on the show that day.
Yeah.
Maybe John Jacobs from FAU. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. He'll watch the games with us.
Yeah. We got 2 screens.
And hopefully we get good games in that slot because we're probably just going to give live play-by-play during the show.
So in.
It's like the Maui tournament where they had
remember
UConn
that?
Memphis.
Bang!
So hopefully that's what's going to happen next week when the tournament finally starts. But you got big ACC, big SEC, big East action. It's been Russo and Rizzo live from Clover Park. Mets Cardinals tonight. Back at it on Monday. It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This spring, speed returns to South Florida. NASCAR weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. Where high octane meets the high banks. And gear up for spring break in the fast lane. 3 races, 3 days, one unforgettable weekend in racing paradise. NASCAR weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. March 21st through the 23rd. Get your tickets now at homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
March just got a whole lot sweeter at DQ Grill & Chill. Enjoy the blizzard of the month, Mint Oreo. Packed with creamy mint and crunchy Oreo pieces. Want extra crunch? Try the new Crunch and Oreo cookie cone dip. And cool off with the refreshing new orange cream shake. It's like sipping sunshine in a cup. Plus, free cone day is Thursday, March 20th. Come in for a